here. Oh, jeez Louise. Okay. Okay, so Daryl Lynn, one of our practitioners, sent this to me. And it's called A Great Afterlife Story. In a mother's womb were two babies. One asked the other, "Do you believe in life after delivery?" The other replies, "Why, of course, there has to be something after delivery. Maybe we are here to prepare ourselves for what we will be later." "Nonsense," says the other. "There is no life after delivery. That would be life. What would that life be?" "I don't know, but there will be more life in here. Maybe we'll walk with our legs and eat with our mouths." The other says, "That is absurd. Walking is impossible, and eat with our mouths? Ridiculous. The umbilical cord supplies nutrition. Life after delivery is to be excluded. And the umbilical cord is too short. I think there is something, and maybe it's different than it is here," the other replied. "No one has ever come back from there. Delivery is the end of life, and in the after delivery, it is nothing but darkness and anxiety, and it takes us nowhere." "Well, I don't know," says the other. "But certainly we will see Mother, and she will take care of us." "Mother? You believe in Mother? Where is she now? She is all around us. It is in her that we live. Without her, there would not be this world. I don't see her, so it's only logical. She doesn't exist." To which the other replied, "Sometimes when you're in silence, you can hear her. You can perceive her. I believe there is reality after delivery, and we are here to prepare ourselves for that reality." Isn't that beautiful? I love that. So with that, talking about mothers, we are going to have LilySCree come up, and we were talking in my office, and we started talking about what happens when we have mothering, whether it's supposedly good or not bad, but how different types, I'm going to say types, different types of mothering, how, excuse me, affect us. I know, right? I said I wasn't going to do that. Anyway, so the her talk title is Healing of Mother Wounds, right? So let's welcome up LilySCree. Yay, and I think this is on.
Oh,
Hang
so
on.
you're not going to Q&A?
I will Q&A. Do you
That'll
have
work.
questions
Yeah.
for me? Oh, so go for it. You want are you, just go ahead and get it.
We'll have questions.
All right. Well, this is good, then I can look at my notes. Well, what would be a first question you want me to ask you?
I don't know.
You don't know, okay.
But
Go for it.
I wanted to talk about attachment theory.
Okay.
This is what we get from our primary caregiver, which is usually the mother. And if there are like 4 types of attachments that infants develop, depending on the care that the mother gives. And this theory was brought forth by John Bowlby, who lived 1907 to 1990, so he was alive in our lifetimes. And his theory was that infants engage in certain behaviors in order to elicit the kind of care that they want from the mother, knowing that they're totally dependent on the caregiver for existence, for survival. And these behaviors include crying and frantic searching for the mother and clinging to the mother. So if the caregiver is present and visible and attentive, the child is relaxed and feels secure and confident. The child can then explore the environment in safety, and they can play and they smile, they're less inhibited, and they're more social. If the caregiver is not present, the child is fearful, stressed, anxious, and distressed. If this goes on too long, then the child becomes depressed and in deep despair. So there was a colleague of Volbe's that did experiments. Her name was Mary Ainsworth, and she lived 1913 to 1999. She did an experiment with mothers and their infants. The infants were like a year old, and the mothers would come into this room with the babies and be there for a while, and then the mother would leave. And they looked at the behavior of the child. And if there was a secure attachment with the mother, which is what, we want, the infants would be a little distressed when the mother left, and then when she returned, they would go to the mother for consolation and be soothed by the mother. If the attachment was the kind that's a secure attachment. Another kind is the if the mother left and the child came and the mother returned and the child was not securely attached, the child would be distressed when the mother left and yet not really want to go to the mother when she came back in. And let's see, this is called the anxious resistant type. And the child is extremely upset when the mother leaves and upon her return cannot be soothed easily. The third is called avoidant, and the child does not care that the mother left the room and upon her return can either try to go to her, maybe, and if there's severe non-attachment, the child will just totally ignore the mother. So that's two different types of avoidant. They're fearful avoidant and dismissive avoidant. And luckily for us, 60% of us had secure attachments, and 20% of each of the other two.
So Lily, what happens when they didn't have, when adults, like right now, they didn't have a secure attachment? What are they like as adults?
Well, funny you should ask. I was going there next. There are some people that looked at adult relationships, and they determined that in intimate relationships, attachment is very similar to the infant to the mother. You can securely attach to your partner, or you can express one of these other ones, the avoidant and the... So these people, Hazen and Schaefer, were the first to research the adult bond and attachment behavioral system. And they found that the similarity between that and infants were that both feel safe when the other is nearby. They engage in close, intimate bodily contact. They feel insecure when the other is inaccessible. They share discoveries. They play with one another's facial features. They exhibit fascination and preoccupation with one another. And they engage in baby talk. And it was thought that the adult relationship attachment was formed by the parental attachment. However, that was proven to be not true, and that experiences can change. So if one did not have good attachment to their mother, they can learn how to have good attachment relationships as an adult. And one of the things that I will get to in a minute is reparenting, how we can reparent, and that's the healing, to me, of the mother wound. But I wanted to talk about certain kinds of mothers that we may have encountered and how detrimental they are. And the focus that this came from was that women have been shown these roles to take in society. And if they were not allowed to be themselves, then they exhibited sort of, not healthy ways of coping with that. And one of them is the saint, the too nice mother, the martyr, who gives to everyone except herself. And she does this because that's what she was taught to do. What the effect that this can have on the children is that they end up feeling the rage that the mother felt at not being able to express herself. And so they become rageful humans. Another kind of mother is the ice queen, and she's kind of a power-hungry, by the book, everything has to be her way, and in the extreme, she wants to possess her children. This is a person who wants to be heard but does not listen to others. She's a perfectionist, and she imposes this upon her children. So they become little shadows of her rather than being their own selves. Another kind of mother is the dragon lady. She intimidates her children through unpredictable emotional outbursts. She dominates with any way possible: manipulation, tears, threats, shame, and humiliation. Daughters of dragon ladies often marry men that are possessive, jealous, and abusive, like their mothers were. Then there's the sick mother, the one who is manifests with physical ailments, and the children are told they have to behave because they could exacerbate mother's condition. And so again, they're not allowed to be free, and they're made to feel guilty about their mother's condition. To heal these, I also wanted to mention some personages from mythology that are expressive of the dark side of the mother. We have Hecate, who actually, these days is considered cool, but she was a goddess of magic, and the dark side of the moon is a part of her. She was given the ability to swim in water and walk on land, and this she gave to humans. Another was Artemis, and though she has a good side to her, if you crossed her, look out. She was the guardian of young maidens and the protector of animals and of the forest. She could become enraged if you defied her laws. Another is Demeter, the mother of Persephone. She became enraged when her daughter was taken to the underworld. Pele, we all know from Hawaii. She releases fiery lava when angered. Another figure is Baba Yaga. She's Russian. She was a witch, and the story is that a young woman confronts her and is transformed into a wise young woman. And this is an example of facing one's own dark side. Kali. Look out for Kali. She has blood on her lips. She dances wildly on the corpses of the dead. She has 4 arms in which she holds a sword, a trident, a lotus, and a pot of honey. So she can have a creative side, but she also has a very dark side. And then there's Lilith, from whom I took my name. She was made to be the wife of Adam. She was formed of the same dust as he was. She refused to be subservient to him, and she left him, go do her own thing. She was reviled for doing this and made into a dark figure. So there are things that can be done to heal this mother wound, and they have to do with reparenting ourselves. One, we need to have compassionate accountability for ourselves. We may not have learned how to do this from our mother, and so we must impart this to ourselves. So this is, if you've done something that you know is an error, you look at it, acknowledge it, but be compassionate with yourself while you're doing it. Don't guilt trip yourself. Just learn from this and move on, and keep remembering what these lessons. Another one is to make boundaries for yourself and for others, to be organized with yourself, to have discipline with yourself. One of the roles of parents is to set limits for their children, and this is how children learn how to be in the world. And if you had parents that weren't there, that didn't set limits, then it behooves you to set them for yourself. For example, I don't need a second dessert. That's a setting of a limit. Setting a boundary with people. No, I don't need to be the one that gives to you all the time at my own expense. No. Me first. Sorry. I mean, I'm sure mothers feel that they need to take care of their children. But if you don't take care of yourself, then you can't take care of your children. You won't be there for them. So, again, me first. But, take care of yourself. Be gentle with yourself. And I'm sure you can come up with other examples of how to discipline yourself. Like watching your money. That's a good thing, and that's something that we always teach here in our prosperity classes, is to, discipline your spending, don't go beyond your means, kind of thing. Clean up the kitchen, don't leave it for the next day. Clean up your house, don't leave things sitting around. These are disciplines that people can build in for themselves. And another thing that we do is learn to love self. Often we did not learn to love self from our mother. And so we learn to do this. We love ourselves. And we do things that are gentle with ourselves so that we're okay. And I think these are some of the things that help. Another thing is to feel your feelings and acknowledge them, however you need to do that. You can write a letter to your mother, which if we have time, I think I have that planned in, if we have time. And do a ritual. And so after we write the letter, we will put it in the mailbox that goes to the Divine Mother. We can learn that we can sacrifice things that we don't need. We can let go of resentments, surrender our victimization, owning your own unique power, especially your feminine power. Accept that your mother did love you, even though she might not have expressed it as you would have liked. And thank her for giving you life. Remember, your imperfect mother may have been a wounded child herself. And just remember the kind of society that she was brought up in. So, now I would like, do we have time? No?
Well, I don't know, how many of you guys want to do a letter to Mom? Let it go for now? Okay.
Okay,
Let it go for
thank
now.
you.
Thank you, that was great.